We are back with more Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live on the phone, I welcome our Director of Public Works, Dan Santos. Dan, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. Welcome back from your vacation.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that I brought the sunshine back with me as well. It was kind of hot down there where I was.
Well, I was away myself. So
were you really? Okay.
Over the weekend, so I didn't get any of the rain.
Very nice. So we both missed out on that. It's a good thing. Can always happen while we're gone. So Dan, want to talk, of course, I feel like we haven't talked about this topic in a while, and certainly some questions still linger about the West Barnstable Shooting Range. So what can you tell me about what is going on over there in West Barnstable?
Yes, well, I will tell you about what we're doing in Public Works, and the direction we've been given from the town manager is to reclaim the lead from the existing ranges. So the range proper, this is where they actually actively did the shooting.
Sure.
From the shooting positions into the berms. And this is work that was really anticipated to be done as a maintenance activity over the years, and it had not been done, where they sift the sand basically and remove the lead particles just to get the majority of it out, and that's identified and suggested as a sound environmental practice to do that. So town manager has asked us to get that done, and we've been working with a consultant that did the preliminary look at the range and identified those areas, and right now we're writing an RFP, so we'll have a company that has expertise in removing the lead, and actually they say it's reclaimed because we take it out and they actually sell it. And
Interesting.
That offsets the cost, because lead has value in the as a commodity and in the scrap market. So we are doing that. We're also working with our surveying group and to actually survey the exact parcel so that we have a recordable map and legal description, because, as you know, what's been on the town council docket for the last year or so is this land swap.
Yes.
And they also want to finalize that this fall. So we have to provide a accurate plan to the Conservation Commission, because that's where this has to start, about what the actual land that will be removed from that parcel. And that has to all be done legally, and so that it get recorded at the Registry of Deeds. And we're going to have that wrapped up in a couple of days. So that's our surveying group doing that. And we're looking at possibly cleaning up. This Crocker Road is a gravel road that runs through there, and we want to make sure that the range proper stays to the west of that, and that road doesn't cross the range.
Sure.
And what I'm saying about what the range is, we've defined the range as where we found lead that exceeds the state standard, and that's really what's defined the boundary of what any land swap will be. So sounds kind of complicated, but basically it's drawing a map that we will either eventually put signage up, and possibly we're looking at pricing for fencing as well, to just make sure that we're delineating that whole area and that people know they shouldn't be going in there.
So it sounds to me as though we are on track to someday reopen the range as an active shooting range here in town.
I know Mark Ells has spoken about that at the last council meeting, and the direction is moving that way, hence the reason for the
Sure.
reclamation and the land swap, so that it may open in some form or fashion in the future. But beyond that, I don't know what that would look like myself. So.
Absolutely. I know still lots of things to work out. So I had a couple of questions, Dan, about the lead removal itself. Obviously, you said you're working on an RFP to kind of find an expert to do that. But I know in previous conversations, we've really kind of talked about how lead really doesn't travel all that much, all that deep into the soil. So I'm imagining it wouldn't be a major excavation to remove this lead from the topsoil.
Yeah, there's really a couple of ways to look at this, and there's reclaiming lead, and then there's restoring the site. We're not, what we're reclaiming is the chunks,
right?
The bullet fragments that you can actually, like with a sifter, take out of the soil. And by doing that, you're removing what might break down further, or rain might cause to leach. And What you don't want to have is microscopic lead, that can move through the soil, and that comes from those fragments. But we're not actually cleaning the site so that as if it was never there, because if it is going to be a range, even for a limited basis, you're not going to go through that expense to clean up the site and then be shooting at it again. So there's really two ways to look at it. There's a reclamation, which is what this is, versus a total cleanup, which if it ever shut down and wasn't a range anymore, you'd have to do that.
Exactly.
And that would be much more costly, and you're actually removing the soil and probably hauling it away if it was above a certain limit.
Right. So when are you anticipating? I know, as you said, you're kind of the project is out to bid now. When are you anticipating starting work on that lead reclamation project?
I think it turns out a lot of there aren't many companies that do that, and they're very busy right now. So I think the soonest that it can be done will be in the winter, and that's going to depend on weather. So the soonest the winter, latest probably spring.
Now, do you think the town would get any benefit from the lead sold from that reclamation process? Okay, great. Yeah.
That would basically offset or go against the cost of doing the reclamation.
Sure. So anything else about what we're looking at in terms of the shooting range right now?
Yeah, that's what our tasking is right now and what we're working on. So that's the latest.
Fantastic. Well, Dan, I thank you so much for joining us here on Barnstable This Morning, and we will talk with you again next Tuesday. Have a great day.
Sounds great. You too.
Thanks much.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Dan Santos, of course, is our Director of Public Works, joining us here on BTM. Going to send you out to look at that beautiful morning view in Katuitt. We'll be back with more.